I think this device came along at the right time. All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today, it's a very special video for you guys. We're going to be talking about some likes and dislikes on the Pixel 7 Pro. Now, like all things, no device is free from some kind of breakdown or a situation where you're having an issue with it. So with this device, I'm going to get right into it and tell you. So if you've been following along, I've posted several videos, and not all of them have just been about this device itself, but I've actually been talking about this device in other videos. So let me start by saying this is one of the best devices I've ever used, and I definitely like it better than the Pixel 6 Pro. It's just very eclectic. It's really nice to have a nice, fast, buttery smooth Android 13 device directly from Google. This is important to me because Google is a software giant, and I want to get I've always told people from the beginning, if you want to experience Android, you need to go to Google devices first. So this is Google's second iteration of this device, basically. You've got the new chip in here. You've got 12 gigs of RAM. You've got just everything. The Tensor chip is great. You got the new camera setup. You got everything you want here. And by the way, these cameras are freaking phenomenal. I do have a video versus the S22 Ultra, and you're going to be amazed at what you see. Google has just mastered the art, and they're getting better and better. But not every device is free of problems. So let's start with these dislikes. So the first thing is, I really wish this is personal preference. Clean it up for you, because this is such a beautiful device. Personal preference, but I gotta say it. I really wish that there was a matte version. These glossy versions look beautiful, and I don't like to wear a case. This has got to be this. I didn't think I would like this. I was Team Hazel, Team Hazel, Team Hazel, but I'm gonna have to buy my own Hazel one. But I do appreciate Google sending this over. Gift from Google. You already know what it is. You see the hashtags Team Pixel. We already know. But Google did send this to me, and I gotta admit, I was shocked. You guys know that I really don't rock with a lot of black devices or darker devices too much, unless they have some kind of matte on them. This is absolute. Just look at it. Look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. And at this angle, this obsidian, now you can see the camera bar. I really love this hardware. However, I wish there was some kind of matte on this glossy bottom portion. I would love to see a two-tone version and the bottom half matte, just so it can take care of the fingerprints. And that's simply it. This hardware, other than that, is freaking gorgeous. It's ridiculous. Now, the fingerprint reader, as you can see there, really fast, no problems whatsoever. It's nice. Beautiful, beautiful fingerprint reader, because the previous generation, the fingerprint reader had a lot of freaking problems, man. Not mine. My 6 Pro was great. My 6, though, lots and lots of problems. No matter what I did, it was a horrible experience with the fingerprint reader, and I didn't like it. So like last year, Google sent over the 6 Pro, then they sent over the 7 Pro. Last year, I bought the 6, and I got to get the 7. So look for coverage on that. But all I'm going to tell you is this hardware is phenomenal. It is freaking great. However, the only problem, now let's get into a problem that I've had. So my favorite thing, and let me just go on record and tell you, in my personal opinion and all of my testing, this cinematic video is better than other phones that I use with cinematic video. I think the tones are better on here. I think it's the quality is on point. But with that being said, there's a couple of things I don't like. Now, I know this is the first iteration of it. I know they're going to get it right next time. But let me see if I can get a little closer here so you can see that. You see that? Of course I can. My camera gear is on point, right? Full HD only right now. Full HD only. That I don't like. I don't like that I can't do 4K cinematic video. And with the Tensor chip, it's beating up on Snapdragon. I don't do I don't do benchmarks. That's not really my thing. But the Tensor chip apparently is a powerful chip, and this is the second iteration of it. So apparently, this chip is beast mode. This chip is just a powerful chip. But that goes at a disadvantage for this device because it's limited for some, and Google can change this in a software update, I'm sure, but it's limited to 1080p and only on the rear. Can only do cinematic video on the rear. Now, obviously, you can probably install third-party apps, but they're not going to get the algorithm and AI like Google gets it done. Boss mode, they have mastered the art of AI technology. They have. Give it to them, folks. Give it up. So cinematic video, while it is much better, in my opinion, than other devices that create cinematic video, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not saying that. But when I checked it next to other devices that I use, I like the Google Cinematic Video better. So now what's another bad thing, Jay? You person, Jay, what's so bad about that? You just say you like it better, and you just say, okay, you don't like that it can't do 4K. But the problem is, right now, I cannot record outside a long time with the cameras. And this just shouldn't be a thing. Now, granted, I do live in a very humid climate where I stay at, and it is very hot outside most of the time. So I found myself I go for a walk early in the morning, and then I'll do a morning workout, and then I'll do an evening workout. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to knock down my evening workout, my late night workout, since I'm not in the bed already. I'm knocking another one out. But I find myself on my morning walk, I'm taking 2 phones with me at all times. And, this phone overheats and shuts off. Period. That's just it. And it's with cinematic video. So the cinematic video is working so hard on this processor, it just doesn't allow it to get a very lengthy cinematic video recording time. Now, not only that, and again, these aren't things that I haven't mentioned. If you're following along with me, I've mentioned that this phone has overheated on me 2 times. I mentioned that already in other videos. So in this follow-up video, I'm giving it to you again now because you're going to see an influx of people complaining about this device overheating for cinematic video if you haven't already seen it. So, and I've seen it. I've seen several people post that it's overheating for cinematic video. But for me, it's really hot where I live at outside, and it actually does not record very long outside at all, even on regular video. As you can see where mine is set at right now, full HD 30. Now, with HDR on, I love HDR. There's no way that I'm not going to do HDR. But look what happens when I turn on 60 frames per second. You see that? Disabled. Do not like that. I want to shoot 60 frames per second for the purposes of slowing down different things and getting some different angles, but you cannot do it. You have to stay at 30 frames per second. Now, some people say, well, Jay, 30 frames per second is the standard. Get it? I get it. But even when I recorded at 30 frames per second at 4K, it still overheated outside and it got way too hot. Like the device itself wasn't even really physically hot. Like it wasn't like scorching hot, but the camera failed. Now, you're going to say, Jay, well, there was one software update. I actually got 2 software updates on my camera. One was very, very small and the other one was kind of big. So I did them both. And I haven't had any overheating issues since. However, it did happen and I'm going to report it to you. Now, this is a retail unit. Even though Google sends these out, this isn't pre-production software or anything like that. This is a retail unit. It is sealed, signed, delivered. I'm gone. Yeah. So it is a retail unit to my understanding. I don't think I'm getting any special treatment with a developer edition or something like that. No, this is a retail unit. So I'm not, and also there are people who are buying the retail unit who are having some overheating issues. Now, I told you it happened to me twice, and I've actually gotten 2 software updates on here. So, and some of you guys are going to say, well, I only got one. Just hang in there. It'll make its round to you. But the camera, with it being so great in quality, I mean, ridiculous in quality. Oh my gosh. Stupid quality on the cameras, because you guys know this is where I focus more on software and camera. Hardware is cool and everything, but software and cameras and overall experience is where I stay. So when I think about how much I want to use these cameras and they crash on me with my favorite way to film, which is cinematic video or 4K 60 HDR, I'm disappointed. But I know it's not the end of the world. Google can fix these things with software updates, and they have proven over time that they are able to do that. So that's why I'm not making a bunch of videos about, oh my God, the camera failed. I'm not going to keep making videos like that. There's no point in it. So you just roll. If you know Google, they're a software company, so they're going to fix these things with software. So you just remember that. I'm not going to continue to make videos about, oh my gosh, the software's failing or the camera's failing, because it's obviously you're going to see a lot of that once creators start to use theirs, because creators are going to go to the internet and tell people. That's what we report the news to you. It's our duty not to just praise a device because it was sent to us. It's our duty to tell you the truth. So with Google, they definitely have some challenges here with the video recording, in my experience. I cannot do HDR at 60 frames per second, which is something I would prefer to do. Even if it's at 1080p, I would take it. And also, the cinematic video cannot record very long. Now, these issues that I had for recording were all outside. They weren't indoors, they were outside. So bear that in mind. Indoors, you saw the video that I did with this device. I recorded the entire footage with it. Air conditioning unit, not right under here, but I was, under air conditioning in the office, and everything worked perfectly fine. I recorded actually like a 30-minute video, and no, didn't crash at all. No problems whatsoever. So just bear that in mind. So that is my thoughts on the failures of this device, or I shouldn't say failures, the improvements that are going to be needed for me to rank it extremely high on top of the list, because we live in a social media age, and then we also know that the cameras are the most important part of a device to people in 2022. So with that, there are no more complaints. There's no more, oh my goodness, this is going to flop. There's none of that. I think this device came along at the right time. Came along at the right time. This is one of the best Android experiences you could possibly have. No sales pitch. Obsidian looks so beautiful. So other than that camera failure that crashed a couple times, I put this device up against the S22 Ultra, and it's strictly zoom, 30 time zoom. Google has decided to give this device the ability, using AI, when you zoom in 30 times, to clear the photo up drastically. I mean, it is ridiculous how clear it gets. And I put it against the S22 Ultra, and it was neck and neck. If I were to show you those two photos, you wouldn't be able to tell which one was taken by which. Now, you're going to say, well, Samsung's the saturation king and blah, blah, blah. Well, you're right. But in this situation, we're talking about 30 times zoom. So they both, obviously, we know Samsung could knock down a 30 times zoom. They could knock down a 50 times zoom, and it'd be somewhat clear. 30 times zoom is the sweet spot, I would say. And I tell you, when I saw the 30 times zoom on this, and remember, they're using AI. They're not using an actual telephoto lens like Samsung. Oh, it's a big lens in there, but they're using AI to get theirs done, and they have done a phenomenal job. I kid you not. It is phenomenal. The quality that's coming from these cameras is ridiculous. More than any person could want. So when a person talks about the price point of these devices being overpriced and things like that, I don't think so. Google has always been a champ when it comes to taking photos. They just need to get their video right. Because if they didn't have those crashes with the video, they're killing it. I mean, the quality is good. It's just can't do it very long. So the 30 times zoom video, if it's not out, I can't wait for you to see it. But if it is out, go check it out on the channel. Oh my God, you're going to be impressed with this camera for 30 times zoom. And it does it at every level. I mean, you go in 10 times, it's going to straighten it up. And you can see it just get the superb quality using AI. It's unbelievable how they do this. I mean, with them being a software company, you just know you're going to love the 30 times zoom. You're going to love the zoom period on this device, man. I kid you not. And when you see that battle with it against the S22 Ultra, just give it its credits. Give Google what they deserve, man. So as you can see here, I'm using this, and the cameras is a long discussion, but I don't want to do it too much. Before I get into software, you see I'm using it on 5G. I'm using it on T-Mobile's 5G. Um, the the phone has been doing phenomenal. It's been doing phenomenal. I'm going to open up a speed test real quick. I've only tested it on T-Mobile, and I promise you, they must be having a lot. They must have a lot of people online right now, because I normally get between 300 and 500 at any given moment, and it looks like it's trying to boost a little bit. But point is, not just download speeds, but call quality. I've been doing a lot of calls, and I've made calls predominantly with my Pixel Buds. And I've also been pairing the Pixel Buds directly to the watch. That way I can leave my phone at home, because if you don't know, if you haven't seen that video, I'm actually using my Pixel watch. I activated it on T-Mobile USA. Google did send over the watch as well. And I said, they were nice enough to send it over. I'm going to go ahead and activate it. I'll pay that monthly subscription and take advantage of the LTE. But we'll get to that in another video. I've already did a follow-up video on that and how to set it up and what my experience is like, but we'll get to that in another video. But um, I'm using it on T-Mobile, and that's the only carrier I've tested it on so far. So it is actually a phenomenal experience. I mean, those download speeds don't represent my experience with T-Mobile. No drop calls with this device. Antennas, and you see this big portion up here? When you get a case, that's normally open. Let me see if I can find one of my cases around here somewhere. Do I have one? It's covered on this case, this Unicorn Beetle Pro, but on the other cases that I have, it's open. And I'm assuming that's just a big giant antenna right there, 5G antenna, and you got these other little antennas along the sides right here. But the call quality, no drop calls, no problems whatsoever with connectivity, nothing. Bluetooth, everything talks to each other very well. I just pop these open, and everything starts to work just as it's supposed to. You see, it's let me know the case is at 77%, and both buds are at 100. So everything is working as far as software goes. Now, the experience on software is always going to be different than, I say, social media. Shout out to my man Grant, as he is back, folks, and he is going full throttle. The experience is going to be different on Android than iOS. I always say, and look, he's testing out the 2, 5, 15, and 30, and I'm telling you, look, incredible, just incredible. But their AI machine is ridiculous. Their learning is so good. But the experience on social media is fairly good, man. It's no problems with it whatsoever. I'm liking everything about it as far as the social media goes, and then my overall software experience. It's really good. No, you shouldn't have a problem because it's stock Android, but there could be some hiccups there. There might be some people reporting issues that I'm not having. But nonetheless, this has been one of the best experiences, as it should. You should be getting the best experience from the Pixel devices, period. It is the benchmark. This should be the benchmark. If this is what Google is offering, this should be the benchmark for Android. And I think this is a good representation of it. This is our second iteration at this Pro lineup like this, and it is impressive. It's I'm amazed at how good this version of the seven lineup here. It feels so much different to me than the 6 lineup, especially from the 6 to the 7. It is such a great. It is just phenomenal. So the software, I'm gonna get a good experience. Now, some people talk about heating other than like camera cutting off. They want to know how warm the device gets. Well, right now, as I hold it, there is heat. there is heat. I mean, the processor is working. The processor is working. I got the phone turned on, the screen turned on for most of the video, and so the heat is coming from over here for me. And it could be just where I'm holding it at, but the heat is coming from this side right here, down there. Um, it's hot. It's hot from here down, but the heat comes from over here for me. For some reason, that's where the heat is coming from. Now, Google did introduce face unlock, and so I deleted mine because I want to show you what it looks like. I didn't show the setup before for Google when it comes to the face unlock, so I'm gonna go ahead and go in now, and I'm gonna set up the face unlock, and we're gonna go ahead and do face unlock real quick here. Let's see here, security, face right here. All right, so let's put this in real quick, and we're gonna add a face because I removed it. And when you have a face, you can unlock using your face or fingerprint, and that's just how you can do it. So we're going to add a face. I want to show you what it looks like to add a face in here. And then we're going to test the facial recognition. Now, the facial recognition is really fast. So it lets you know here about the facial recognition, tells you how it works before you even put it on here, and there you go. So I'm going to agree to this, and then I'm going to do what it says here. So this is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you the facial recognition in action. So you can have it to where it skips the lock screen, and you can have it to where it requires your eyes to be open. If you skip the lock screen, it's going to go right into the device. So this normally works at a very steep angle. So you'll see what I mean. Check this out. You see how it's unlocked right there? Now let's go back into face. I'm going to go ahead and have it skip the facial face unlock, and I'm going to show you how fast it is when you do that. Check this out. You see that? That's a pretty steep angle, and it's really fast. Now, I normally don't have skip the lock screen turned on, but because you can accidentally unlock this thing, it's fast. You see that, how fast it goes in? So the facial recognition is back. People asked for that. They got it back. Google listened, and that's just an important part for a lot of people. So the software experience on here is top notch. Call quality for me has been phenomenal. No problems with drops on the network or anything like that. Connectivity issues, no issues as far as Bluetooth and everything else that I can connect to the device. The watch is never disconnected. And we'll talk about that Fitbit thing with this watch in another video. But other than the two times that it overheated on me, folks, I don't have any complaints about this device, really. I mean, the way it looks is beautiful, and the materials used are beautiful. But again, that's just personal preference, whether I want a matte. A lot of people will probably say they want this to be matte just to help with grip or fingerprint reader or fingerprints and things like that. That's just the thing. But this is by far one of the most beautiful devices. And I'm not really a black phone type of person anymore, but this is gorgeous. And you can even see the camera module in there. You can see it right there. And speaking of camera, look at this bar right here. What do you think about this bar versus the older version where they just had the black slab? I think this is nice. It appears to be really uniformative with the color of the devices and things like that. That's really nice. They're using metal along here now. Some people says it still looks like and feels like plastic, but I can tell the difference in the hardware. So this has been my experience up to this point. And I think it's a good experience overall. You're not going to have a flawless run with anything, just about. You're going to have some kickback and you're going to have some issues with a device. If you don't have any issues, great. I get it. Some people buy things and they have no issues with it. But other people buy things and they actually use something more than another person and they end up seeing that they have an issue with it. So, yeah, for me, just those camera woes because I use the camera a lot. So it's your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed the follow-up. I mean, this is just a beautiful device. Hands down, Google got this right. Now just get those camera little woes in check. And folks, this could easily be the phone of the year. Let's see how the 7 does when I get it in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Leave a comment down below and take care.